afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. In 2 minutes, we'll be starting our first competition this afternoon. Will be the women's 500 meters second race for Division A skaters.
女子500メートルディビジョン A2 回目、競技開始2分前、競技開始2分前です。
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second day of the World Cup in Obihiro, Japan. We'll start with the second 500 meters for women. The first race. Well, we already go to the next pairs. We'll have some very strong Japanese skaters, some Dutch skaters near the end. Erin Jackson, current reigning Olympic champion. Let's see what they can do today compared to yesterday, where they already had their first 500 meters.
Introducing the first
And in the first race,
for the first pair,
we'll have Kako Yamane
from the inner lane, Kako Yamane
against
of Japan.
Angelika Wojcik.
On the other lane,
Angelika Wojcik 2 years ago came on very strongly. Skated new Polish records all the time. Then underperformed a little at the Olympics. Then took a year off. And now she's back. She hasn't reached her Olympic level yet, though. She used to skate incredibly fast openers. And 10.65 is not bad, but she used to skate a lot faster. Kakayamane 10.8. Well, it has to be in the lap then. They look to be about even. Wojcik has a slight lead. And she skates 1/100th of a second slower than yesterday. Yamane is a little bit faster. It happens fairly often that skaters skate faster the second time around. So far it's about the same as yesterday in the first race. So let's see what McDougall and Warren can do. A North American race. Yesterday Warren was the fastest between the two of them. About 2/10 of a second faster. Although McDougall does have the faster personal best. 37.85 against Warren's 38.24. False. Warren gets the false start. Yeah, we can see some movement there. Well, doesn't matter who gets it. If someone does it again, even if it's McDougall, she's out. Rarely happens though, luckily. And they're off fine this time. Warren is taking a slight lead. 10.7 to 10.9. That's once again not that great. Warren seems to be taking the lead. Just like yesterday. Difference seems to be about the same as well. What will their final time be though? Both slower. By about 3 or 4 tenths of a second. Not so great.
Sarah Warren of USA, 38.97.
ブルックリン・マクドゥガル、カナダ、39秒31。サラ・オレン、アメリカ、38秒97。以上です。
There's been a lot of talk about all the American and the European skaters having to travel a very long way. And they have. For the Dutch skaters, I know it's been like 1.5 days of traveling. An overnight stay in Tokyo or somewhere around there. And then all the way to the north of Japan, Obihiro. And it's very true that that is a downside. On the other side, the Asian skaters, especially the Japanese skaters, for once don't have to travel that long. The previous World Cup in Asia was all the way back in 2019. It's almost 4 years ago. So for once they have the advantage. Dione Voskamp against Karolina Boziek. Voskamp can usually open quite quickly. She already skated 10-3 2 weeks ago. And that's unfortunate. That's not going to be a good race. Few mistakes at the start. Yeah, 10.95 to 10.88. For Boziek, that's not bad. She's more of an all-round skater. Well, middle distance. Voskamp does seem to catch up, which is good. She does skate the stronger lap. But this is also her strongest distance. Does Boziek catch her up at the end? Just about not. 38.84 against 38.86. That's 2 tenths slower than yesterday. I'm not sure what the air pressure is. I don't have data on that, but it might be a little bit higher than yesterday. It's also only been a few races. Maybe the ice is slower. But so far, out of 6 people, only Yamane has beaten her time from yesterday. Wojciech is in the lead. That's not gonna stay like that. And perhaps this race is gonna change because yesterday both skaters were faster than Wojciech's current 38.73. Ruining Tian won the B group. And Daranova skated very close to her low altitude personal best. Why do I say low altitude? Well, she has personal best of 38.00. But that's skated at high altitude, where you go much faster. That was a very slow start for the Kazakh skater. So we have kind of a separate category for low altitude world records and personal bests. 10.59, that's good. 10.93. Doesn't look very good for Daranova to skate faster than yesterday, but Ruining Tian perhaps. She skates a great crossing there. Wins by a wide margin. Great turn. And she is a tenth faster than yesterday. And Daranova is about 4 tenths slower. That's unfortunate, but very fortunate for Ruining Tian. Ruining Tian also skated quite a good Olympic season. Then didn't participate previous season, and now she's back. And while the level is not quite that yet of what she had in the Olympic year, it's definitely getting there. So hopefully she can reach those times again. And there's Erin Jackson, reigning Olympic champion. That was truly an exceptional story.
Introducing skaters.
Standing on the ice for the first time, 2016, now winning in 2022. Vanessa Herzog against Na Yoon Lee.
It's Vanessa Herzog.
Na Yoon Lee is just 17. She'll be a junior for 2 more years. It's incredible. Sure, she's already skating very good times. You see that quite often with Korean skaters. And they do have trouble getting through to the absolute top of the world once they become 19, 20 years old a lot of the time. So I'm very curious to see in the coming years what Na Yoon Lee will do. Vanessa Herzog had a terrible first race of 38.59. And this is not a good opener for her. For Na Yoon Lee, this is fine. But Herzog could do 10.4 instead of 10.8 when she's good. Yesterday Lee was a slight bit faster, now Herzog seems to be winning. Yeah, she has the lead. And that's 100th slower than yesterday. Her shape's not great, unfortunate. Hopefully it'll be better next week. And Lee was also a little bit slower. So, whereas the trend seems to be, if you look at a lot of competitions and the average, that the second 500 meters in a weekend or on a day, is a little bit faster. Doesn't seem to be that today. That can have a whole variety of causes. Alright, a Dutch pair. Naomi Verkerk, the surprise of the season, and Jutta Leerdam, the world's best 1000 meter skater we've seen in, well, since Christine Nesbitt in 2012.
Introducing skaters of pair number 6.
Naomi Verkerk surprised at the Dutch trials, the Dutch qualifier, by skating a new personal best of 37.63 and placing in the top 5. She came in 3rd, if I remember correctly. Jutta Leerdam has not had a great week. Her mom got sick 2 weeks ago after the Dutch trials. And it is weighing her down a lot. 10.74, that's about the same as yesterday. Leerdam did win the 1000 meters with a very small difference, but she did continue her streak of winning. The 500 meters is not her best distance. She does win with a wide margin this race though. 38.01, that's a lot faster than yesterday. And Verkerk is a lot slower. Not a great race. But from Leerdam, that's a fine race. And she goes into the lead. 'Next up, Rio Yamada against Marit Vladeres.
Introducing skaters of pair number 7. Starting from the inner lane is Ryo Yamada of Japan.
The number 7 and 8
On the outer
of
lane
yesterday.
is Mark Federers of Netherlands.
Go to the start.
Ryo Yamada is another one of those skaters that came up fairly strongly about 2-3 years ago and hasn't really been able to continue that progress in the previous year and so far this season. 10-7, 10-8. Yeah, that's about the average, what we've seen today. And that's a good turn by Flederis, and she takes the lead. Yesterday their times were very close together. Today 38.24 for Flederis, 38.72 for Yamada.
Time for Ryo Yamada of Japan, 38.72.
That's the same time for Flederis, well, under it's slower. And Yamada, who was the faster skater yesterday, disappoints a little. Even though it's her home turf. She has no jet lag. We did see yesterday that across the board, because they're on their home turf for once, the Japanese skaters performed very well. Including, in the next pair, another Japanese skater. So far, 2 Dutch skaters in the lead. Followed by Tian, Herzog, Yamada and Wojcik. There we have Yukino Yoshida against Kimi Guts. Guts won yesterday, fairly surprisingly. Not entirely unexpected. Still a little bit of a surprise. And Yoshida was the only one yesterday
Go to the start.
who skated the personal best. 37.96, her first time below 38 seconds. Can she do that again?
Ready.
Yesterday, 10.5 and 10.53 for the both of them. And both exactly a tenth slower. Guts has a good crossover. And she should be taking the lead getting out of this corner. And she does. She was also the faster one yesterday. 37.82 yesterday. What can she do today? No. Leerdam stays in the lead. And Yoshida 6/10 slower than yesterday. It's not a big deal, especially for someone new at the top, like Yoshida. It's very difficult to be consistent. And Yoshida's only 20 years old. Guts has only been good for a couple of years. She's already 29, but it took her quite a while. And you see that often with different skaters. That it takes quite a while to actually get to the top of what you can do, to get to the top of the world. And if Guts can continue what she started, then this looks to be a great season for her. Femke Kok against Kurumi Inagawa. Kok, reigning world champion, and has been the best Dutch 500 meter skater for a while, a few years now.
Go to the start.
Both skaters still young. Kok is 23, Inagawa is 24. So while Inagawa has not been able to reach the top of the world yet, She still has plenty of years. It took now Kodaira until she was 26, 27, something like that, to win. 10-5-9 for both. That's pretty damn good. And now the lap. Kok is going to win the race in 37.90. She takes the lead. It is a little bit faster than yesterday. Inagawa doesn't quite reach her time. And we have just one pair to go. So Femke Kok is guaranteed a medal. She got bronze yesterday. Guts won yesterday and she skated slower. But the next two skaters both very much have the ability to go faster. And one of them did. There we have her, reigning Olympic champion Erin Jackson. Had a little bit less of a season last season, but she's doing well this season so far. And Min Sun Kim, who won 5 of the 6 World Cups last year, but wasn't able to do the same at the World Championships. She only came in 4th. Still not bad. And it was still a step up from when she became 7th at the Olympics. But not what she'd hoped for, undoubtedly. Yesterday, 37.99 for Kim, 37.89 for Jackson. And the time to beat is 37.90. It's been corrected, 37.89. Jackson with the down start. And she has taken the early lead. Yesterday, 10.43 was the fastest of the day. And today, 10.54, a little bit slower, but still the fastest. Kim also a little bit slower than yesterday. Good turn from Jackson, and she takes the lead. 37.89 is the time to beat. Can she do it? No, she can't. And Femke Kok wins this World Cup. Jackson doesn't medal. Jutta Leerdam second. And Kimmy Guts doesn't win, but does get a medal in 3rd. And Marit Vladeres is also 5th. Jackson 4th. So we got 3 Dutch skaters and 2 American skaters, and that's the top 5. Very strong from the Dutch skaters. At 4, 5, 6 years ago, the Dutch skaters could not skate a 500 meters at all. It was by far the weakest distance of the Netherlands. Now it's not yet their strongest, but it's close. And this just proves that again. 1st, 2nd and 5th. And the American sprinters and also male long distance skaters are doing very well so far this season. So the previous season, Femke Kok started with a 12th and a 6th place in the first 2 World Cup races. Now, 3rd and 1st. That's a lot better. So she should definitely get some confidence from this. As should Jutta Leerdam, because it's a lot better than yesterday, where she came in 10th and now 2nd. And here we see the final results. Femke Kok, the only one under 38 seconds. And Yuta Leerdam, Kimmy Guts, Aaron Jackson, Marit Vladeres, Kurumi Inagawa, the best Asian skater of the day, Minsun Kim, Ruining Chan, Yukino Yoshida, a little bit less than yesterday, unfortunately. But she can pick herself up again next week. Nessa Herzog, a better classification than yesterday, but still not a great time. And then the two Polish skaters here. Hopefully Wojcik can improve a little bit more throughout the season.
In 2 minutes, we'll be starting our next race, 1500 meters men's race. First player, please get ready.
ディビジョン A 男子 1500m 競技開始2分前、競技開始2分前です。
And here's the draw of the 1500 meters men. Ning against Swings, Johansson against Morozov, the Norwegian pair, Kongshok against Aitrem, then Trentini against Engebraten, then two Japanese skaters, then we'll get a couple of Canadians, Dutch skaters and Japanese skaters in the second half.
Go
So here we have Bart Swings against Zongyang Ning. Zongyang Ning this season no longer trains with the Chinese selection, but it's in team of Johan de Wit, Dutch coach, who's been to Japan for a good number of years. Now this season has his own team. And I'm very curious to see whether Ning can improve upon last season before that, by training with people like Yuma Murakami, Ayano Sato, in Team Gold from Johan de Wit. Bart Swings, of course, reigning world champion, Olympic champion, mass start. 23.85. That's not bad from the Chinese skater. Bart Swings is a slow opener. So 24.5. He can definitely do something with that. Track record 1:44.55. Skated by Danish Yuskov 5 years ago. 26.1, 26.6. You can still do a lot with that. It's not the fastest, but then again, these skaters are not sprinters, especially Bart Swings. He usually skates good second and third laps. Ning is taking a big lead though. 26.99, that's a great second lap. He looks to be going towards a 1:45, which would be in the top 10 fastest times ever skated in Obihiro. And that would be very good. Bart Swings has closed in a little bit, but not enough. 1:45.59 against 1:46.93. That is the 5th time ever skated by Zongyang Ning. The only people faster was the top 4 of the World Cup 5 years ago, with Yuskov, Nuis, Roest and Krol. And we won't see Yuskov today, but we will see the other 3. Great first race from Zongyang Ning. Well, first 1500 meters at least. Next pair, Morozov against Johansson. Morozov is a bit of an odd case. A few years ago he was a little bit more long distance, skated a very good 10k at the Olympic Oval finale 2019, 13:03. But now he shifted a little bit more towards 1500 meters. And Johansson, junior world champion, back in 2018 in Salt Lake City.
Go to the start.
And has skated some very good 1500 meters in his career so far.
Ready.
Had to adjust his glasses right before the start, as they had to take their positions. Johansson is usually a fairly slow starter. Morozov not the fastest either. But then they make up for it at the end. That's the beauty of the 1500 meters. You can have very fast starters like Thomas Krol against very slow starters, and then at the end they can get to the same final time. Although 24.4 and 24.8, you lose almost a second, or half a second and a second, compared to what Ning did. And Ning had some great second and third laps. So it's gonna be difficult to make that up. (26.3) for both. Well, if they slow down very little, they can still skate a good time. Johansson has taken a slight lead. That's a massive difference in the second lap. 27.4 to 28.1. They are quite far behind Zongyang Ning though. They're not going to beat that. And the final turn. At this point in the 1500 meters, especially if you're a sprinter, but anyone really, your legs are exploded, you're incredibly tired. 1:47.68 and 1:49.15.
Finishing time for Alan Dahl Johansen of Norway, 1 minute 47.68.
The 1500 meters is known as the toughest race, but also the king's distance, at least as we say in Dutch. If you have the sprinters, the all-rounders, they come together, you're incredibly tired at the end. It's a beautiful race. In the next pair, we'll have two more Norwegian skaters. And they're very good. But why are they in the first few pairs, if they're so good?
Introducing
Well,
skaters of pair number 3.
It's because the ISU has taken the season's times ranking as basis for the first two pairs.
Outer lane is under
For the draw of the first race of the season for every distance. And both Kongsjok and Eitram only skated on fairly slow Norwegian rings. Because both Stavanger and Hamar, Stavanger because of some problems with the cooling system, and Stavanger and Hamar because of floods, they have been out of order. So they had to skate in Bjugn and Kristiansund. So they skated not bad, but their times were slow because the rings were slow. So they have to skate very early now. Sander Eitram on the left, he is very tall. I was in Norway this summer and I met him and he's just as tall in person. Eitram has taken the lead. My apologies, Kongsjok has taken the lead. 24.1 to 24.5. These are also not the greatest openers, so it's to be expected. Especially Eitram has a very strong 5k, but Kongsjok can skate a decent one as well. So Eitram is one to look out for in the final laps. 26.1, 26.2, you can do everything with that. Now it all depends on the second and third lap. Kongsjok is skating the better second lap. Takes the lead in the inner turn. (26.9) and 27.0. Kongsjok is just 0.2 or a quarter of a second behind Zongyang Ning. If he skates a good final lap, has to be a good one because Ning skated a good one as well, he can still take the lead, but Eitram is coming in close. He's closing the gap. Got 100 meters left, he can still do it, it's still possible. Kongsjok or Eitram, it's gonna be Kongsjok, but the difference is very small. And just above Ning's time. 1:45.85, 1:46.06.
Finishing time for Peter Kongsjok of Norway, 1 minute
1:45.85 is the 10th fastest time now in Obihiro, including the one Ning just skated. But that's definitely a good race. And just like a few times the previous season, Kongsjok definitely made the difference in his middle lap. The last season he skated one of the fastest middle laps ever skated on low altitude rings. On high altitude rings like Salt Lake City and Calgary people have gone much faster, but there's much lower air pressure there, so that's not comparable to a rink like Obihiro, which is less than 100 meters above sea level.
On the outer lane is Holger
And here we have the last Norwegian of the day, Holger Engebraten, against the Italian Alessio Trentini.
Go to the start.
Engebraten, fantastic skater. He skated some great 5Ks. Also some great 1500s.
Right.
Unfortunately, he has a lot of lung problems. And if that's not causing him trouble, he is very good. But unfortunately, fairly often it is causing him trouble. Trentini has a slight lead. 24-1, 24-2. We're not seeing very fast openers today, but then again, we haven't had any sprinters yet. And we'll get some. And Engebraten is again a 5K skater. So he should be able to keep those lap times low at the end. And that's our first 25er of the day. First sub 26 second lap of Engebraten. 25.9. 26.0 for the Italian. Both on a good pace. And Trentini seems to be closing in. Will he take the lead? Well, they're about even. Trentini has a slight lead. Exactly the same middle lap, 27.42. If they skate a miraculous last lap, then they can still take the lead, but it has to be absolutely miraculous. One of the likes of Enrico Fabrice used to do, or Patrick Roes does now. And Engebraten takes the lead into the final 100 meter stretch. And his final time, 1:46.40 and 1:47.60 for Trentini. More than a second difference in the final lap. So you can see how much of a difference that can make. Whether you start faster, finish faster. That's the beauty of this.
1:46.40.
アレッシオ・トレンティーニ、イタリア、1分47秒60。ハルゲイル・エンゲブロテン、ノルウェー、1分46秒40。以上です。
はい、ここまで4組が終了しまして、次、帯広市出身、山田雅也選手。
Next up, two Japanese skaters. Masaya Yamada and Taiyo Nonamura. And that's Jordan Stoltz, our miracle from the USA.
Introducing the skaters of pair number
Interestingly, and coincidentally, they also skated against each other yesterday.
Yamada of Obihiro, Japan. Starting from the outer lane, Taiyo Nomura of Japan.
And Yamada, in fact, won the 1000 meters. In quite a good time of 1:08.35. So, what can he do today? Both skaters have opened very fast in the past. I'm not expecting anything like that. They've opened 23.2, which is incredibly fast. But I am expecting sub 24 openers. (23.4) from Yamada and 23.6 from Nonamura. That's quite a bit faster than what Ning did. Ning is still in first place. Both skaters using both their arms on their back. You used to barely see that 10 years ago, but then about 6-7 years ago it started to become a little bit more popular to do that. It is more aerodynamic, but it is harder to keep your stability when you have both your arms on your back. 25.7 from Nonamura, fastest lap we've seen so far. And they both have over half a second lead over Ning. But the question is, can they keep it up? Because these are sprinters. They're not long distance skaters. Ning isn't either, but Ning is a middle distance skater, so he's a little bit on the longer end. They're losing a little bit of time, 27.07, 27.23. The middle lap. It all comes down to the final lap. And you can see just how incredibly tired they are. A little bit of a slip from Yamada. And they're incredibly even. But in the end, Yamada does take the lead. And he beats Ning. He kept it up in the final lap. 1:45.57. And Onomura only a little bit behind. 1:45.70. Very good times. And very good performance from Yamada once again. He has the possibility to win this. The chance is not very big because we have some great skaters coming up. But there is a possibility that he takes the double, the 1000 and the 1500. Three Asian skaters in the lead, followed by 3 Norwegians. But now, we have upcoming another Japanese skater. And Thomas Krol. Krol, third at the World Single Distance Championships last year. Second at the Olympics the year before. Came in fourth at the Dutch trials. And Kazuya Yamada skated a new low altitude personal best at the Japanese championships. 1:44.97. His first time under 1:45 at sea level. Kroll usually quite fast on the first 300 meters. 23.3, 23.4, that's about what we can expect. Kazuya Yamada also usually quite fast. Yesterday, on the 1000 meter, he had the strangest way of skating. He had very short strides. 23.6, 23.8. That's quite a bit slower than we usually see, especially from Thomas Krol. So he's gonna have to make it up with a very fast first lap. 25.7 is the fastest we've seen so far. That's what Yamada did. This is his little brother, by the way, Kazuya Yamada. 25.9. 26.2. That's not that great from Thomas Krol, because he is a sprinter. The 1000 meters is usually his strongest distance, although he didn't qualify this season. So he's most likely not going to get it from the final lap. So he's going to have to do something really special if he wants to hold on and go into the lead. 27.1, that's not bad. 27.5 from Yamada, he's quite far behind. But the last lap is not Krol's strength. You can see him slow down. Very slow rhythm compared to earlier in the race. And can Yamada beat him? Can he close the gap? It looks like he does. Yes, he beats Thomas Krol. 1:46.15 and 1:46.29. They're not on the podium. But it is quite unexpected that Yamada beat Krol. Not a great time from Krol. But a good race from Kazuya Yamada. Not quite as fast as his older brother. But still a good race.
In Introducing skaters in pair number 7.
Another Japanese skater in pair 7. Saitaro Ichinoue against David Larue.
On the outer lane is Seitaro Ichinohe of Japan.
Now in the previous race, I said that Kazuya Yamada beat his own low-altitude personal best at Japanese championships. He didn't win, because Ichinoue did, and also broke his
To the start.
with 1:44.7. So he's in good shape. This will be his first international race of the season.
Red.
David Larue has had not a great couple of years. A few years ago he skated some great times as a junior, but he hasn't been able to beat his personal best that he set as a junior. And he's 25 now, so that was about 6 years ago. So I hope that he can reach that level again. 24-0 and 24-1. That's about what we can expect from these skaters. Ichinoue is more of a long distance skater, well, all round. So he's got to do it at the end. (26-1, 26-3). Again, that's to be expected. They can do a lot with this, especially Ichinoue. He's using both arms to accelerate some more. That costs a lot of energy. We've seen that a few times. Female Canadian skater Kaylee Christ used to skate the entire 1500 meters using both her arms. But it doesn't often work out great. 27-0 from Ichinoue, 27-3 from Larue. They're both a second behind Yamada's time. They're probably not going to get that, but who knows? If Ichinoue skates a fantastic final lap, anything's possible. Will he get it? No, but he is close. Just 700 of a second behind. 1:45.6 and 1:46.7 from David Larue, which is a new low altitude personal best. 200ths of a second faster. It's stood at 1:46.72. Now it's 1:46.70. So that's a good time. It's not in the top today, but it's a low altitude personal best. So there's at least some progress there, which is very nice to see. And there's Kjeld Nuis, our reigning double Olympic champion. He won it 2022 and also 4 years prior, 2018. Came in second at the Dutch trials. But first, Wesley Dijs against Antoine Gélinas-Beaulieu, the man with the most beautiful name of everyone.
Go to the start.
Gélinas-Beaulieu skated a great 1500 meters at the Four Continents Championships last season in Quebec City. Of 1:44.6. And Wesley Dijs skated in Heerenveen, a very fast low altitude rink, 1:44.5. But Quebec is also a fast rink, so both skaters should be about evenly matched. (23.8 to 24.1). Wesley Dijs has definitely done that faster in the past. Gélinas-Beaulieu can skate great 1000 meters, so you would expect him a little bit faster, but he can also skate decent 5Ks. Dijs is taking a big lead. 25.8 to 26.2. That's a good first lap. But can they keep their pace up? Can Jelinas Bolio close the gap a little on the inner corner? Doesn't seem like he can. Middle laps. 27.3, 27.8. Leslie Dice, again, gonna have to be a very strong final lap in order to catch the first time. And Jelinas Bolio is far behind. He's not gonna make it, unfortunately. But with a decent final lap. Ooh, that hand to the eyes. Leslie Dice, he's completely sore. 1:45.88, that's a good time. The top 6 is within 31 hundredths of a second now. That's very close. And 1:47.72 from Antoine Jelinas Bolio. I'm sure he hoped for better. Well, perhaps he can do better next week. Currently, the top 3 is Masaya Yamada, 1:45.57, Zhong Yangning, 1:45.59, and then Saitaro Ichinoue, 1:45.63. And then in 4th, Taiyo Nonomura, another Japanese skater, 1:45.70. That's all within 13 hundredths of a second. It's incredibly close. And there are 4 Asian skaters in the top. Of course, we're still going to get some great non-Asian skaters, so I don't know what it will be at the end. But it once again does prove that not having to travel incredibly far to Europe or America is an advantage for the Asian skaters for once. Which they deserve. We don't have enough competitions in Asia. A lot of that had to do with the recent years with the COVID pandemic. But now that that's no longer an issue, we will have more competitions in Asia. So that's great. Alright, Kjeld Nuis against Connor Howe. Nuis used to start off quite quickly. Recently he starts off a little bit slower, but then makes up with a fantastic middle lap. He is the king of the middle laps. And Connor Howe skated a new personal best and almost a Canadian record at the Fall Classic in September this year. 24.0 for Nuis, 24.3 for Howe. They've both done that a lot faster, and even for what they usually do now, this is a little bit slow. So it's gonna have to be on the laps. Nuis is taking a big lead. 25.7, that's pretty damn good. To 26.2 from Connor Howe. He can still do a lot with that. Now, if Nuis can skate something like 26.6, 26.7 in that middle lap, then he's got a great shot at the lead. Connor Howe is going to have to skate a lot faster, but it doesn't seem like he's going to do that. The gap seems to be about the same. 26.8. Only 2/10 behind first place, behind Yamada. And Connor Howe 1.5 seconds behind. He's not going to do it today. But Nuis still has the chance, because Yamada did not skate a great final lap. Nuis usually doesn't skate them that great, but not that bad either. So, can he do it? He doesn't. 1:45.76. That's not a bad time, but I'm pretty sure he's still disappointed with that. And Yamada is still in the lead with only 1 race to go. Can he get the double? Connor Howe will be very disappointed. He skated much faster comparatively in September already. And also in October. Final race. And that's a doozy. We got Patrick Roest against the American phenomenon, Jordan Stoltz. Now, Jordan Stoltz is absolutely fascinating.
Introducing the 10th and the final
Because
pair.
2 years ago he was mostly a 500,000 meter skater. Then last year he suddenly won the first World Cup on the 1500s, skated some great times,
On the outer
won the
lane,
World
is
Championships.
Jordan Stoltz of USA.
And this year he skated a massive low altitude world record. Because it used to be 143.00
To the start.
from Kjeldnuis. This season, at American competitions in Milwaukee, Jordan Stoltz skated 142.31. That's immensely fast, much faster than he'll be today. He disappointed a little bit yesterday on the 500 and the 1000, especially the 1000. So hopefully he can make up for that today. Patrick Roest won the Dutch trials. And with a great last lap. Because in the same weekend, just 1 day apart, on different continents, these two skaters skated 2 weeks ago the first and second fastest final lap ever on low altitude. 23.7 from Stoltz, 24.5 from Roest. That's roughly what they did at the trials, the American and the Dutch trials. Jordan Stoltz can skate the 1500 meters in all kind of different ways. Roest is a long distance skater, he'll get back at the end. But Jordan Stoltz can start off fast, he can skate great middle laps, great final laps. 26.3. He's losing a bit of time there compared to Yamada, and Roest is losing a lot of time. But Jordan Stoltz, he can skate fantastic final laps. As I said, he skated the fastest ever at sea level a few weeks ago. The question is, does he actually do that? 27.2, it's gonna have to be an amazing final lap. Will he take the lead? And it's not impossible, but it's gonna have to come from very far away. Patrick Roest does seem to be closing the distance a little bit, but Jordan Stoltz has the inner turn, so he's gonna have to lead. Can he do it? Can he win the World Cup just like he won the first last year? Can he make up for his mediocre 1000 meters? And he is just 2/100ths of a second behind. He goes into shared second place. And Masaya Yamada takes the double. He won the 1000. He wins the 1500. No one could predict that. That's amazing. That's absolutely fantastic. Last season he didn't get further than place 6 on the 1500 meters in the World Cup. And now he wins the first. That just shows you that the Japanese skaters are very good. If they don't have to travel half across the world. And Jordan Stoltz, this is a lot better than his 1000 meters and 500 meters. But he didn't win. A lot of people were saying, well, he's gonna win everything. You know, seeing those times he skated in Milwaukee, which were extraordinary. But he's had to travel a long way. Maybe a little bit of jet lag still. Who knows? All we know is, he didn't win. And Masaya Yamada did. There are 3 Japanese skaters in the top 5. And the 4th one is at place 10, so all 4 in the top 10. And the Dutch skaters, who always skate incredibly fast in Heerenveen, are at place 6, 8, 11 and 12. So, times from the preseason, they don't mean everything. People skate on different rinks. And especially Dutch skaters usually have a bit of trouble adjusting themselves to different rinks that are a little bit slower than Tialf in Heerenveen. And you can see that again here. They underperformed. Next week we'll be in Beijing, which is a very fast rink. That's the Olympic rink. Maybe they can do better there. Although I'm definitely not opposed to some Japanese victories. What's especially remarkable here today is how close together everything is. The first 13 skaters are within a second. It's not unheard of, but it is quite special and uncommon. The first 10 skaters are within 6/10 of a second. This was an incredibly exciting 1500 meters. The times weren't stunning. Still good, not stunning, but how close together everything is. That makes for an exciting race. The Norwegian skaters also underperformed a tiny bit. Maybe next week, once they've gotten used to the time difference. I don't know how much jet lag is still an impact and all that stuff. Long travels. We'll see next week. Well, they're going to prepare the ice now. And they're going to show you the final rankings, which I've pretty much already told you. It's incredibly close together. And we'll be back in 15 minutes or so with the women's 1500 meters. 10-15 minutes. We'll be back.
ご来場の皆様、お待たせいたしました。これより女子 500m2 回目表彰式を行います。We will now commence the award ceremony for second 500-meter women. The medals will be presented by Ms. Wanna Super Archer ISA representative. Bronze medal, Kimi Getz, USA. Silver medal, Yuta Lennon, Netherlands.
In 2 minutes, we'll be starting our next race, which will be the 1500 meters race for women's Division A class. Skaters, please get ready.
女子 1500m ディビジョン A 競技開始2分前、競技開始2分前です。
Introducing the skater of the first race for women's 1500 meters.
And we're back with the women's 1500 meters. Hope you enjoyed the break. First race. Canadian skater Yvonne Blondet, who skates almost everything this weekend, against no one. Well, the draw says she would be skating against Yekaterina Aidova from Kazakhstan, but she withdrew, which is news to me as well. Yvonne Blondet last year at the World Single Distance Championships skated a new low altitude personal best of 1:54.71. Probably not going to reach that today. That was in Heerenveen, a very fast rink. Also at a moment where skates are at their best. World Championships, 26.5. That's about usual for her. She's more of a 3K skater. So her openers are usually not the best, but she makes up for it at the end. We had a B group earlier today, or in the middle of the night if you're in Europe like me. And Martina Sablikova, long-time long-distance world champion, has won that in 1:58.7. 28.89 for Blondet. That's a lap that she can skate a decent time with. She wasn't at her A game yet in the Canadian time trials and qualifiers, but she'll have a lot of time to grow into the season. She did win the mass start yesterday. 30.5. She's gonna go around a time of 1:58.00 probably. Track record is 1:54.08 by Mio Takagi, skated at the Japanese Championships 2021. And the 10th fastest time, so if you want to get into the top 10, is 1:56.55. 1:58.32 from Yvonne Blondet. That's not too terrible. She can do a lot better, though. But as I said, she has time to grow into the season. People usually don't try to peak around these first World Cup races. Some do, some skate incredibly fast. And I know that some of the Japanese skaters are trying to break track records here. The male 500 meter skates like Tatsuya Shinhama, Yuma Murakami. But a lot of skaters also don't. They just see this as a little bit of a warm-up towards the next part of the season. Because in the first part, before 2024, before New Year's, we have 4 World Cups. And after that, we have some more World Cups, World Championships, European Championships, all that kind of stuff. And that's where the important prizes are able to be won. We have Caitlin McGregor against Isabella van Elst.
Go to the start.
Both holders of the national low altitude records. McGregor for Switzerland. Ooh, false. And Van Elst for Belgium. And Van Elst gets the false start.
4 start, outer line, crossing the line.
Her skate was across the line.
Go to
That's
the
one of, fairly common occurrence for a false start. Not as common as making some movement though. Van Elst is a very interesting case, of course, because she used to skate for the Netherlands, but now she skates for Belgium. She transitioned to skating for Belgium the previous summer, so a little bit over a year ago, so last season was the first one she skated for Belgium. Hasn't quite reached her times that she skated as a Dutch skater yet, but since Belgium doesn't have a lot of great female skaters, she did get some national records. Even though those are not her personal bests. 25-9, 26-1. That's a lot better. That's something you can do something with. And McGregor had both her arms on her back there. Something you see more and more. Not everyone can do it. But you do see it a lot more recently. 28.8. That's very fast. Because McGregor's low altitude personal best and low altitude national record for Switzerland is 1:59.15. So if she can come anywhere close to that or beat it, that would be fantastic. And her personal record skated at high altitude is 1:47.4, and for Van Elst it's 1:57.4. 38. Okay, if she can skate a final lap under 33.3, McGregor has got it. But she is completely wrecked. Although that final turn does look quite decent. And Van Elst is behind. Can she do it? Can she break Switzerland's low altitude national record? And oh! 1600ths of a second away from breaking it. Still a good race. If you almost skate a personal best, that's still good. She won't win. She won't come close to the podium, but it's still good. And next week we're at Beijing, a faster rink. Who knows what's possible? You don't see a lot of Swiss skaters. So having one that's at least good enough to keep herself in the A group, top 20 of the world, that's good. Ragnar Wieklund against Karolina Boziek. Wieklund incredibly unexpectedly won the World Championships 1500 meters in 2021. No one saw that coming. It was completely out of left field.
Go to the start.
And last season, she won the 3K. And placed second in the 1500 meters.
Ready.
Wieklund usually a little bit of a slower opener. We've not seen any fast times from her this year yet, because the fast Norwegian rinks had been out of order due to flooding and cooling systems issues. Boziak 26-1, Wieklund 26-7. That's a tad on the slow side, but she can still do great things with that. Boziak's low altitude personal best is 157.4. Wieklund has 154.3. So if Boziak can skate, around 158, that will be pretty good. 28.7 from Wieklund, fastest lap we've seen so far. 29.2 for Boziak. I spoke to Wieklund in the summer when I was in Norway, and she was very much looking forward to this season, especially the 3K. Talked about potential taxable world record later in Salt Lake City, but this is today in Obihiro. 29.9, that's a good middle lap. Boziak 31.5, she's gonna have trouble breaking the 2-minute barrier. Can Wieklund go under 157? If she does, she'll get close to the top 10 fastest times ever skated in this rink. Not quite. 157.43. Well, she does take the lead. Almost a second faster than Ivani Blondin. But not her greatest race. Then again, we'll have to see what it's worth. I didn't think Masaya Yamada was going to win the 1500 meters after his 145.5, but he did. So anything's possible. But in all likelihood, she may do top 10 with this time. Next pair, Mia Kilberg against Ayano Sato. Ayano Sato, another skater who is in Team Gold from Johan de Wit. Along with Mio Takagi, who we'll see later. And a few others like Song Yang Ning. Sato had a great Olympic season. Then was a little bit less last season. But let's see what she can do here on her home turf. Mia Kilberg is mostly a mass start skater. Kilberg has the national record on the 3K of America, shares it with Catherine Rainey to the 100th of a second, but it's not that fast. And is most in her element on the mass start. 25.4, now that's an opener. We've seen Sato do that before. And that's what she does. Start off quickly. Skate a good first lap. And see what happens. Kilberg is more of a mass start, long distance, but also generally not quite at the same level as Sato. So she might make up some distance in the final laps. Sato 29.0, that's very cautious. I would have expected a sub 29 lap. Especially with that opener. What will the middle lap be? 39. She's about even with Wieklund now. She won over a second in the opener, but her final lap will most likely not be faster. Kilberg is closing the gap, but she still has the outer turn. So, probably not going to make it up entirely, but she will have the faster final lap. And they're not gonna make it A second behind Wieklund, 1:58.46 and 1:59.07. Over 1.5 seconds behind.
Finishing time for Ayano Sato of Japan, 1 minute 58.45.
イア・ヒルバーグ・アンドネロ、アメリカ、1分59秒07。佐藤綾乃、日本、1分58秒45。以上です。
You can see that Sato has around her waist a little rope where she can hook her thumb in, which helps her keep her arm on her back. You don't see that very often, but some skaters do that. Very notably, a long time ago, Annie Friesinger, back in like 2007, 2008. One of the last great female German skaters.
On the outer lane is
You used to have like 3-4 German skaters on the 1500 meters in the A group. 0 today. It's fallen off very much. Alright, here we have Kishi Lee against Nadezhda Morozova.
Ready.
Lee skated a surprisingly good 1000 meters. Was not quite the podium, but quite close. And Morozova has skated some great 1500 meters last season. Got the podium twice in the World Cup. (26.2) for both. A lot slower than Sato, but faster than Wieklund, who is in the lead. And both are not known for fast openings, so... they can still do a lot with this. Kishi Lee sometimes skates an incredibly fast lap, fast first lap, sometimes quite slow. And this time it's fast. 28.3, that's very fast. To 29.4 for Morozova. Now it's all about the middle lap. (31). She loses a bit to Wieklund there, but still has a lead. For 7/10. Can she successfully defend that lead? Her rhythm is slowing down, as you often see. It's only really the skaters with the strongest final lap who don't do that. And Kishi Lee is a middle distance skater, 1,500 meters. So this is very tough for her now. Can she take Wieklund's time? Yes, she can. 1:56.81. That's very close behind the top 10 times here. So that's a great time.
finishing time for Nadezhda Morozova of Kazakhstan, 2 minute 01.
Morozova, 2 minutes, 1 second and 52 hundredths goes into last place.
56.80.
That's not a good race.
ナデジダ・モルドワ、カザフスタン、2分01秒52。
Hopefully she can do better next week. She'll probably fall down to the B group. Top 3, Kishi Lee, Ragnar Wieklund, Ivany Blondin. Here we have Momoka Horikawa, the Japanese surprise of the season, against Isabella Weideman, the woman with the slowest opener of the entire field today. She's a 5K skater, so she'll probably be quite a bit behind. Although Horikawa is also more of a long distance skater. Last season, Horikawa skated low altitude world records for juniors on the 3000 and the 5000 meters. It was incredible and came quite close to the Japanese record as well. This season she's no longer junior. She's what's called neo-senior won. It was her first year. And her 1500 meters was always quite bad because she was a long distance skater. But at the Japanese championships, she randomly skated 1:55.9, which was over 2 seconds of her personal best. It was incredible. So, what can she do here? 26.8 and 27.6. Yeah, that's... From Horikawa, that's slow. From Weideman, that's incredibly slow. Even for her. But you can make up a lot in the laps, so nothing's lost yet. 29.3. We lose a second to Kishi Lee there. 29.8 for Weideman. They're very far behind Lee, and I would be very surprised if they manage to close that gap in the second half of the race. Horikawa needs to skate like half a second. She needs to lose only half a second per lap. No, it's not gonna happen. 32 compared to an opening lap of 29.3 is quite good. But she's lost so much at the start, it's not gonna happen. Not that I really expected it. But still. Her best distance, the 3K and the 5K. Well, the 5K won't be skated this weekend, but the 3,000 meters will be tomorrow. That's her best distance of this weekend. She does skate a great final lap though. 1:57.35 with a final lap of 30.90. That's great. Not quite the lead, that was not possible anymore. But she does go into second place. It's very good.
59.22.
イザベル・ワイデマン、カナダ、1分59秒22以上です。
And Weideman 1:59.22. You know, that doesn't say a lot. 1500 meters, she skates it to, you know, get a little bit of speed training for the 3K and the 5K. But she doesn't really ultimately care. She's not going to win anyway. It's not her distance. Kimi Guts against Joy Buijnen. Now, Kimi Guts won the 500 meters yesterday. Not today. Did get a medal again though. And Guts skated a good 1500 meters in Milwaukee 2 weeks ago. Joy Buijnen holds 3 junior world records. Then had trouble improving her times and getting to the level of the seniors after she was no longer a junior. But now, a few years later, she's found her team, she's found her level, and she's doing good. Kimi Guts opened under 25 in America, in Milwaukee. 25.55 here, that's still fast. And 26.3 for Buijnen. That's about the usual what we see from her. Now, Kimi Guts opened with a lap of 27.5 in Milwaukee. I'm not expecting that here. That was crazy fast. Especially on low altitude, that's almost unheard of. And she completely blew up at the end. 28.6, that's more reasonable. Buijnen is faster though, 28.5. Not the fastest lap we've seen today, but the 1500 meters doesn't end after 700 meters, so it's not all in the first lap. There's a lot to go still. And Guts takes the lead. Seems to have a little bit of a better middle lap. Not quite. I saw that wrong. Buijnen again faster. And they're right about the split time of Kishi Lee. Can they do it in the final lap? Visually had not the best, but still a decent final lap. Beuner's rhythm slows down a lot. And Kimi Guts has a slight lead. Can Beuner make that up on the final 100 meters? It doesn't look like she can. No, Kimi Guts will win the race and into the lead. 156.56 and Beuner 156.58 into third place.
1 minute 56.56.
That was a tight race.
1 minute 56.88.
And the 156.56 is exactly 100th of a second above the 10th time in Obihiro.
Introducing the skaters of pair number 8.
Next pair, Brittany Bowe
Brittany Bowe
against
of USA.
Valerie Maltais.
And on the outer lane is Valerie Maltais.
Brittany Bowe is a legend. Look at that personal best. 153. 150.3. Very close to the world record. Low altitude personal best 153.4. Incredibly fast as well. Skated a good time in Milwaukee. Was over a second faster than Guts 2 weeks ago. And also started off with an opener under 25. And then a lap of 27.5. So what will she do today? And Valerie Maltais, been vital for the team pursuit for the Canadians. They became Olympic champion 2022. We'll see the team pursuit later today actually. But skated some very good 3Ks last season. 25.6 from Bowe, 26.2 from Maltais. Bowe, just like Guts, not nearly as fast as in Milwaukee, but Milwaukee is a faster track. They did not have any jet lag issues then, or travel pains or whatever, so this is to be expected. It's still on the faster side. Bowe does have to take it at the start. The final lap is not her strength. And then 28.9 is not what you want to see. That's gonna be a... Ooh, that just about works. That was a tight crossover. Because if they're next to each other, then the person who is in the outer lane has the advantage. They have the right of way. So then the person in the inner lane has to slow down and wait. So luckily for Maltais, she was able to go just in front of Bowe. 30.4, 30.5. It's still possible for Bowe if she manages to skate a great final lap. It's gonna be difficult. But her rhythm seems decent. Will she be able to beat the time to beat of 156.56? No, she won't. 157.41 against 157.76.
Finishing time for Brittany
Maltais
Bowe,
has the
USA.
faster final lap, but it's not enough to catch Bowe.
1:57.41. Finishing time for Valerie Maltais of Canada, 1 minute 57.76.
ブリタニー・ボー、アメリカ、1分57秒41。バレリー・マルチェ、カナダ、1分57秒76。以上です。
We have just 2 pairs to go now. And in this pair, 2 skaters from Team Gold from Johan de Wit, Mai Han and Mio Takagi. Mai Han, along with Zhong Yangning, came over from China to Team de Wit, Team Gold. And Mio Takagi is the original member of Team
The
Gold.
skaters of pair number 9. Starting from the inner lane is Mei Hang of China. On the outer lane is
Johan de Wit
Hong
didn't
Takagi
get, he
of
was
Japan.
coach in Japan for many years, but he didn't get a new contract at the end of 2022, the 2022 season. And then he just went solo with only Mio Takagi the previous season. And then this season they've built a team around her. 6 skaters in total, including Takagi. Takagi, world record holder. Both just entirely and on low altitude. Takagi is also 6 times in the top 10 fastest time skated in Obihiro. Mostly from Japanese championships. She can skate the 1500s in all kind of different. 25.47, the second fastest opener of the day, a little bit behind Sato. And Maihan she can go in front of Takagi, luckily. It's never nice to see a skater have to wait. As I said, Takagi can skate great first laps, middle laps and final laps. Not all in one race, of course, that's impossible. But she can do it in a lot of different ways. And she skates the fastest first lap of all. So far, anyway. 28.3, and Maihan not bad either, with 28.8. Takagi had a little bit of a disappointing season. She skated a fantastic 1500 meters at the Japanese Championships, and after that she did get a few medals, but not nearly as good as they hoped for and expected. Middle lap, 29.5, the fastest of everyone again. She is very far ahead of Kimi Gus. She will definitely take the lead. The question is, how fast will she go? Track record is 1:54.08. Can she do that? That would be very special. 1:54.08, and it's not gonna happen, but 1:54.54 is a fantastic time. It's the second fastest time ever skated in Obihiro. Only Takagi herself was faster, almost 3 years ago. And half a second faster than anyone else has ever done. Obviously, she goes into the lead with that. She definitely has a medal. And I'd give her quite good chances to win this. Amazing performance. Better than the first World Cup last season. Which she did win though. But this time is better. Maihan, a little bit disappointing with 1:57.42. Last pair, Antoinette Rijpma de Jong, one of the longest names we've seen today, against the Dutch surprise on the 1500 meters, Esther Kiel. She came in second at the trials. Improved her personal best by about 3 seconds. You sometimes see those kinds of improvements from junior skaters, but never from someone who is already 27 years old. Esther Kiel has been participating in Dutch competitions for a long time, but always skated about, top 10, place 10, place 11 in the Dutch competitions. Suddenly second with a fantastic time. 25.8 for de Jong, Rijpma de Jong, and 26.4 for Kiel. Rijpma de Jong is reigning world champion, track record holder in Tialf, second fastest time ever skated on low altitude. So she's incredibly good as well. Had quite a disappointing qualifier. Did qualify for the 1500 meters, but did not skate in the top 5 on the 3K. 28.8, she loses a lot to Mio Takagi there. A second behind, and Takagi's middle and final lap were good. So this is going to be a very tough race for Antoinette Rijpma de Jong. Esther Kiel is not skating her best race. Then again, her second fastest time is 1:57.50. something. I'm not entirely sure. So if she skates around that, that's still good. Okay, Rijpma de Jong is not going to win. But with a good final lap, podium is definitely still in sight. But she's too far behind. She's gonna have to lose nothing in the final lap, which never happens. Second place is 1:56.56. Can she do that? Yes, she can. 1:56.24. Almost 2 seconds behind Mio Takagi, but still in second place. This is astonishing. Especially compared to the men's. Remember, in the men's 1500 meters, the first 10 places were within 6/10 of a second. The gap between 1 and 2 for the women's 1500 meters here just now is almost 3 times that at 1.7 seconds. There's over 3 seconds between number 1 and number 10. Phenomenal performance from Mio Takagi. Absolutely phenomenal. She's on her A game. Did not win the 1000 meters. Did get podium though. Then again, beating Jutta Leerdam is a very big ask. And she skated a good time. But this is her best distance, the 1500 meters. And it's very good to see that Team Gold, Team Johan de Wit, is doing well. Zhong Yang-ning performed well. Mio Takagi is performing well. Yuma Murakami is performing well. So the new team works. Rijpma de Jong will probably be happy with this, because it's definitely a lot better than the qualifiers. Although she will probably be worried about the distance to number 1. That difference is massive. Gimme Guts, third place. Antoinette Rijpma de Jong, second place. And then Mio Takagi, winner. In the second fastest time ever skated in Obihiro. And here we have the full results. Mio Takagi, Rijpma de Jong, Guts, Lee, Beune. Not bad for Beune, 5th place, that's quite good. Horikawa, 6th place, that's very good. Bo, Meihan, Ragnar Wieklund, Valérie Maltin. And then on the second page, Esther Kiel, 16th. At least she stays in the A group. Blondin, Weideman, that's not bad. Especially for Weideman, it's not her distance. Okay, they're going to prepare the ice. And then we'll have the team pursuit. Men and women. I'll see you in about 15 minutes.
皆様お待たせいたしました。これより男子 1500m 表彰式を行います。 We will now commence the award ceremony for 1500-meter men. The medals will be presented by Miss Swana Super Archer ISA representative Bronze medal Zhang Yanning, China. Silver medal Jordan Stoltz, United States of America. Gold medal Masaya Yamada, Japan. Obihiro Sweets Bouquet is presented by Naoko Saiki, Vice President of the Japan Skating Federation. Obihiro Sweets Bouquet の贈呈は日本スケート連盟副会長、佐伯直子でございます。帯広十勝の美味しいお菓子、花束のようになっております。 しました。これより女子 1500m の表彰式を行います。 We will now commence our ceremony for 1500-meter women. The medals will be presented by Ms. Swana Silva Archer, ICU representative. Bronze medal, Kimi Getz, United States of America. Silver medal, Antoinette Limpa de Jong, Netherlands. Gold medal, Miho Takagi, Japan. Obihiro suit bouquet is presented by Hidehito Ito, Vice President of the Japan Skating Federation. Obihiroスーツブーケの贈呈は日本スケート連盟副会長伊藤秀人でございます。Please give the medals a round of applause to honor them. 大きな拍手をお送りください。
この後、男子のチームパシュート、そして女子のチームパシュートが行われるんですが、1500メートルで熱いレースを見せてくれた選手たち、続々登場してまいります。日本は男子が美幌町出身、一戸誠太郎選手、長野県出身、土屋律選手、そして同じく長野県出身、佐々木翔馬選手でエントリーされています。女子は今 1500m で優勝しました特別賞出身高木美帆選手、そして厚岸町出身佐藤綾乃選手、太一町出身森川桃香選手エントリーしてますので、ぜひ皆さん最後までご声援よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。さてちょっとネイルの一回やってみようと思います。ネイルで髪を持った人が今います。見えますか？手を挙げていきましょう。せーの、スタート。わー、いけー。見えますか？止まっちゃった。全員手挙げていきましょう。そうですね、ちょっと戻ってきました。そこからの拍手で埋めていきたいと思います。いきますよ。ネイルに入れるところ拍手します。せーの、拍手。ではよろしくお願いいたします。
In 2 minutes, we'll be returning to competition with teams pursuit for men.
And we're back with the men's team pursuit. Just 3 races. Italy, Japan, Netherlands, Canada, and then the United States against Norway. We did have a B group, which had 8 teams. And China won that in the B division. With a time of 3:48.07. For anyone who doesn't know how the team pursuit goes, it's a little bit different from normal distances. There are 3 skaters per country on the track at once. And they have to skate 8 laps against the team that starts on the other side. You can see the 3 Italians on the left. There they are.
Starting from the finish straight is
Giovannini, Giotto, and Malfatti.
Davide Giotto and Michele Malfatti. Starting from the crossing straight.
And the Japanese skaters, Ichinue, Sasaki, and Tsukiya.
Shomu Sasaki and Riku Tsuchiya.
Riku Tsukiya to be precise. There's also Ryosuke Tsukiya.
Go to the start. Ready.
And they're off. Now, what is a good time? The track record is 3:41.26 from the Russians, set 5 years ago. Team pursuit isn't skated very often here. Not at all. For a top 5 time, you have to go into the 3:43. 13.4 and 13.8. If they manage to keep up that pace, they're on roughly the pace of the track record. 13.2. Japan accelerates. The team pursuit is skated in a lot of different ways. You can start off fast and blow up at the end. Or you can start off a little bit slower, like Italy has done. Italy's accelerated just now to 13.3. These are half lap times, not full lap times. They seem to be quite fast. That's because they're skating 2 inner corners, so 1 full lap is not quite 400 meters. Japan's on great pace. Now, years ago, up until about 3 years ago, almost everyone would very often change who's in the front. This is Davide Giotto in the front. But you see that much less frequently now, because changing who's in the front costs time. And you can see them pushing, which is what you see a lot more nowadays. In fact, almost everyone does it. And maybe they do 1 change instead of something like 6. Italy is going very well. 13.4. They're right about the pace for the track record. And they're keeping it steady. They've overtaken the Japanese skaters now. You can see on the bottom right where exactly they are. 13.5 still steady. 3 laps to go. That's 6 passages. Can be a little bit confusing with these half laps. 13.5. That's a very steady race. 13.7 for Japan. That's also steady. They lost about half a second compared to some fast half laps they did earlier. But they've kept it at 13.7 for a while. Okay, Italy slowing down a little bit now. Just 2 laps to go. (13.6). They're keeping up the pace. They lost 2 tenths, but now they gained a tenth again. The track record again is 3:41.26. 1 more lap to go. 13.94. The track record is not possible anymore. They're gonna have to go under 13. But they'll get quite close to it. 3:42.79. That's the 4th time ever skated in Obihiro on the team pursuit men. So that's a good start. And that's very promising for the next two teams. It's already 5 seconds faster than China was when they won the B division. Next up, we have the Netherlands versus Canada. The Netherlands has a troubled history. The Netherlands has won almost every single World Championships on the team pursuit. But in the Olympic Games they only won 1 out of 5 that have been held. A lot of problems, not training enough in the same team, like skating in different teams, different setups every time. And you have to really get to know each other, train a lot together. Canadians, Howe, Larue, Gélinas, Beaulieu.
Go to the start.
And I missed all the exact names of the Dutch skaters. But I did see Marcel Bosker.
Red.
And Patrick Roest, the best Dutch skaters of all, is not participating. He didn't want to do it. The training sessions that coach Rintje Ritsma gave, he wasn't happy with how that worked, cost him too much energy, so he said, not for me this season. Netherlands, fastest opener of the day so far. Canada starts off a little bit slower. Netherlands half a second ahead of Italy. Almost a second ahead of Italy now, although Canada has the faster split. Well, faster half lap. Of just 13.3. Losing a little bit of time now. Italy went to 13.4 here, or 13.3, something like that. Canada is keeping up that pace though. As you can see, they very much have the same rhythm, the same stride. Canada has trained a lot on this. And the women's team managed to win the Olympics with that. And they're tied now. Canada lost almost a second in the first half lap, the opener. But they got that back now. And they're still winning on the Netherlands, but losing a bit on Italy. Now Italy did lose a bit in the final few laps, so there's some space there for Canada to win that back. Half a second behind, anything's possible. The Netherlands will have to accelerate, because this is definitely not enough. I believe, by the way, that that's Louis Hollaar in the front and Bart Holwer second and Marcel Bosker third. Canada gaining up some speed, losing some speed now. And the half lap times are the same, almost the same. And they're not keeping up the pace. The question now is, can any of them, either Netherlands or Canada, accelerate enough to win back that time that is available there in the last few laps of Italy's race? It doesn't look like it. They're slowing down too, both teams. The Netherlands has the best skaters in the world, best long distance skaters. But They don't train enough. They don't skate in the same setup enough. That's very important. Of course, they still have the entire season to get into it, and there's been a lot of training this summer. So there's potential there. But this is not great. And a lot of the best skaters usually don't want to because they got all the distances and those are teams more important. Over 2 seconds behind Italy. And they're probably going to end up even behind Japan. Yeah, third and fourth tied. Well, didn't see that coming. They won't be happy with this, definitely not, especially the Netherlands. 3:45, that's bad. Italy skated really good. The Netherlands didn't. We got one more team. Well, one more race, 2 teams. We got world record holders, America, United States, against Norway. The reigning double Olympic champions, 2022 and 2018. Of course, different skaters, different setups.
Introducing the skaters of the third race and the final of men's team pursuit. Starting from the finishing ring is Team United States of America, Ethan Seperin, Emery Lehman, and Connor McDonald.
Chaperon, Lehman, and McDermott Mustovi.
Is Team Norway, Sander Eitren, Peter Komschak, and Sverland.
Sander Eitren, very recognizable here in the front. He's almost 2 meters.
Go to the start.
He'll be able to catch a lot of wind for
Right.
Komschak and Pedersen. America is the current world record holder with 3:34.47. With mostly the same team. Joey Montilla was still in there then. He's retired now. Well, the US starts off strong. 13.5. The fastest first lap we've seen so far. 13.2. They're starting off very strong. If they keep up this pace, then let me check. It's about 3:38. That will be incredibly quick. The fastest time ever skated on low altitude is 3:36.62 by Russia. They're not gonna make that. That was at the Olympics, faster track. But the track record is definitely within reach. 13.5, slowing down a little bit now though, and Norway speeding up, 13.3. Keeping it steady now. Still a second ahead of the Italians, the Americans. Norway is closing the distance, ever so slowly though. Closing the distance even more, 13.3 for Norway, 13.6 for America. Now 13.5 for Norway, still a little bit faster than America. Roughly the same as the Italians did. It can still go any way. $13.4 for Norway. If they keep this up, they will beat the Italians, because the Italians lost a lot. They went to about 13.9, 14.0 in the final laps. 13.4 again for Norway. And they're tied now with America. Norway is keeping it incredibly steady. They're ahead now for the first time, also ahead of the Italians. They're on their way to skate the track record. 3:41.26, that's the track record. Another 13.4. And America above 14 now. America looking to go probably into third place. 13.3, they're accelerating. This will in all likelihood be a new track record. 3:48.3. Almost half a second below it. New track record. That's a great time. And they win with that, obviously. And America indeed into third place. 3:43.57. The Italians on the podium. That's in second place even. That's quite a bit surprising. Nearly 2 seconds behind Norway, so that's a decent gap. Norway, very good. As I said, track record. Started off a little bit slowly, but they waited their time, kept it incredibly steady throughout the entire race until the very end, and just won it in that second half. Phenomenal. The Netherlands has work to do. Canada, final place. Well, tied with the Netherlands, I guess. Also has work to do. And one of the Americans just threw up. The team pursuit can wreck you. It can absolutely wreck you. Because you only have inner turns, so there's a lot of forces on your legs to keep those turns. And you're going quite fast, because you're skating behind each other, and it's not that long a distance. So the speed is very fast, much faster than you would skate on your own. Because you have the advantage of skating in a pack. It's incredible. So, final ranking. Norway, Italy, new track record for Norway by the way, United States, Japan, and then, well, Netherlands probably has faster thousandths of a second. So, Netherlands into 5th place, Canada closes it out in 6th place. We're going to prepare the ice again now. And I'll see you in about 10 minutes for the final distance of the day. The women's team pursuit.
注目の国といいますと、どうなってきますでしょうか。
はい、女子は全部で5組10カ国で行われます。まず4組に登場しますのが日本、そして対するはチームアメリカでございます。そして最終組に登場するのが北京オリンピック金メダルチームカナダです。そしてその対戦相手となるのがチームパシュートの表彰台常連校オランダとなります。どんどん後半に行くにつれてそのゴールタイム激しい争いになってくるんじゃないかなと思いますので、そこのタイムにも注目してほしいと思います。で、電光掲示板の見方なんですが、普通の個人種目と違って半周ごとのラップタイムが表示されます。ですので半周
2 minutes, we'll be starting the final race of today. Team Pacific for Women, Division A races. There'll be 5 races. Skaters, please get ready.
女子チームパシュートディビジョン A 競技開始2分前、競技開始2分前です。
And we're back with the final distance of the day. 5 races and no B division. First race, South Korea against Italy, then China, Switzerland, Poland, Germany, Japan, USA, and in the final pair, Canada against the Netherlands.
Introducing the skaters of the first race. Starting from the finishing straight, Team Korea, Chaewon Park, Jiwoo Park, and Soo-min Kang. Starting from the crossing straight is Team Italy, Laura Lorenzato, Serena Berger, and...
In Team Italy, I'm missing Laura Peveri. She was quite good, especially on Mass Start previous season.
Go to the start.
But she hasn't skated anything yet this season, and I have no idea why she hasn't. She was very up and coming, but maybe we'll see her later in the season. Who knows? And the best Italian skater, Francesca Lollobrigida, is also not yet here. She will be joining the World Cup circuit in Europe for the 3rd World Cup. She became mother last year, so didn't skate at all, and is now back. Openers 26 and 27. 6.7. So the track records set by Japan 2:57.80. And this pace of high 15s is well above the track record. Whereas Italy was right above it with the men's, the women's are most likely not going to reach that. This pace is about 3:12, 3:13, so about 15 seconds above the track record. The difference, by the way, between the men's and the women's team pursuit is that the women skate 6 laps, whereas the men skate 8. So it's a little bit shorter, but it will still wreck you if you go all out. $16.4 for both. Again, 16.4 and 16.5 for Italy. Both very far above their national record. Granted, that's skated at high altitude, but still, not the strongest teams here. And that's a shame. I must be honest, I have very little reference frame of what these skaters should be able to do. The team pursuit is skated very rarely, almost never on the national level. You do see it every now and then in some countries, but very little, only a few times a year. And the setups are constantly differing. South Korea is speeding up, that's good. So it can be quite difficult to determine what is a good time for a certain setup, especially if that setup has never skated before. What's also interesting to note is they skate with a helmet in the team pursuit. About 2 years or so ago, that was a new rule, that you now need helmets, because people do fall a bit more often, and you know, you're with a lot more people on the track. Things are a little bit more dangerous. 3:16 for Korea. And 3:23 for Italy. Well, we now do have a reference frame to compare the next race, China and Switzerland to.
現在韓国チームが3分16秒でトップに立っています。続いては世界距離別選手権で5位となっている中国のチームの登場です。
Introducing the skaters for race 2. Starting from the finishing straight is Team China, Wei Jinjin, Ao Yu Chen, and Mei Han. Starting from the crossing straight
Mei Han
Team
is
Switzerland,
definitely the strongest skater of
Caitlin
these
McGregor,
three.
Ramona Ardi, and Yasmin Guntard.
And here we see McGregor again, who skated a strong 1500 meters. And Herdy. And Guntert.
Ready.
The openers are already so much faster. 1919, 1970. You know, those are openers we see more often. They're already 3 seconds ahead almost, the Chinese team. This is a good pace. If they keep this up, they're going to get a time around 3 minutes. Which would be in the top 5 best times ever skated in Obihiro. Under 3 minutes it would be actually. It's close to track record pace this. Which again is 2:57.8. 14:50, 14:35. Switzerland going very well as well. China lost a little bit of speed there. Slowed down their pace a little bit. Losing even more. Switzerland is also losing a little bit, but keeping it more steady. They're slowing down even more. Their start might have been a little bit too fast. Because usually the best times are with a steady race. If they can keep it steady from now, then they can still skate, you know, not too far off 3 minutes. Which is still a very good time. So it's still possible. But then they have to keep it steady, and they do keep losing. They're more than 10 seconds ahead of the Korean team. It's a massive difference. 15:52 for both. Still losing, not too much though. But they are losing every lap. Losing a little bit of time. So they're looking for times around 3:06, 3:07. It's not quite the top 10 time yet, but it's getting there. We're getting closer. And China looks to be the one to win here. Unless Switzerland can do something magical, which they can't. But it's very close. 3:05.37 for China, 3:05.65 for Switzerland.
Finishing time for Team China, 3:05.37. Finishing time for Team Switzerland is 3 minutes.
That's for both. Quite a decent time. You can build something on that.
フィニッシングレーン中国3分05秒37。クロッシングレーンスイス3分05秒65。以上です。スピードはスイスが逆転してたんですが、最後中国ギリギリ逃げ切りました。3分5秒でトップに立ってます。
In the next pair, we have Poland and Germany. And I hope that Germany can put a good race on the ice. Because the women's German skating has been in a deep hole for the past 5-10 years. They definitely need something, some pick-me-up.
Starting from the finishing straight is Team Poland. Carolina Bozier.
And Team Poland, they came in second in the Olympics in 2014, obviously with
Starting from the crossing
entirely different skaters.
is Team Germany.
That's nearly 10 years ago.
Josephine Sherlock, Josephine Heimer, and Michaela.
They were very good, and they've fallen off a little bit recently. They did came in 6th at the World Championships, Germany 7th,
Go to the start.
which was unfortunately also lost.
Ready.
'Time to beat 3:05:37 from China. Well, the start is decent. The question is very much, can you keep it steady? Steady does win the race. 14-7. They're losing compared to China, but China started off quickly and lost a lot in the end. So if Germany and Poland can keep it a little bit more steady, again 14-6, 14-7, if they can keep it around this, or at least around 15-0, then they can go into the lead. Poland accelerates. Germany loses a little bit. $14.5 for Poland, 15-3 for Germany. Germany keeps losing. Poland keeps it mostly steady. And they're winning on the Chinese. 14-7. Yet 15-7 from Germany. They definitely started off too fast. $14.9 from Poland. They're losing a little bit now as well. Germany steady now. $15.0. If Poland can do 2 more laps of like 15-1, 15-2, they have a shot for first place. Germany, 15-4, accelerating a little bit again. That's good to see. 15-2 for Poland. They shouldn't lose much more. They have almost caught up to the Chinese now. And they're ahead, 15-2. They keep it steady. 4/10 ahead now. Germany is also keeping it steady. They lost too much in the middle bit of the race, which is very unfortunate. Yeah, Poland is definitely going to go into first place. And it's going to be 3:04:59 against Germany's 3:08:54.
Finishing Team Poland is 3 minute 04.59. Finishing time for Team Germany, 3 minute 08.54.
That's a decent time.
フィニッシングレーンポーランド3分04秒59
Still 7 seconds behind the track record,
ドイツ
which was set in 2018 by the Japanese skaters. And that was a phenomenal team. Second fastest also by Japan in some test event. Third fastest also by Japan at the Asian Winter Games in 2017. And then we get Netherlands and Russia for the top 5. Japan came in second at the Olympic Games and second at the World Single Distance Championships in the past 2 years.
Finishing straight is Team Japan. Momoka Horikawa, Miho Takagi,
Losing to Canada both
and
times.
Ayano Sato.
Momoka Horikawa, Mio Takagi and Ayana
Finishing
Sato.
straight is Team USA.
And here we have Kilberg, Myers and Birkeland.
Greta Myers and Georgia Birkeland.
Myers still very young.
Go to the start.
Can Japan challenge their own track record?
Ready.
They should at least be able to go into the lead, considering how strong these individual skaters are. That's a strong opener. That's very strong. And now for the pace. 14-0. They're definitely starting off cautious. Never mind, sorry, I was confused with the men's half lap times. That's very fast. 14-0. 14-1. They're already 2.4 seconds ahead of Poland. And Canada is keeping the same pace as Poland. This is almost world record pace. If they can keep this up, it's gonna be a fantastic track record. Well, it's not quite world record pace, but definitely low altitude world record pace. 14-3, losing a little bit now. 15-0 from America. They still have a connection to Poland, 7 tenths behind. But Japan is just so phenomenally fast. 14-5. They have to keep it steady if they want to go for that track record. (14-6), still losing a little bit every lap. And America 15-2, roughly steady. (14-6), Japan keeps it steady now too. So does the USA. That track record is within reach. 14-5, accelerating. 2:57.80, that's the track record. If they keep this pace up, I believe they'll go slightly under it. (14-7). They need to go under 14-7 to get that track record. 2:57.80 is the track record. Will they make it? Yeah, just a little bit above it. 2:58.03. Obviously, phenomenal time. America 3:06.50 into 5th place. Phenomenal time by the Japanese skaters. Second fastest ever. The Japanese team.
Finishing time for Team USA is 3 minutes 06.
Mio Takagi, obviously not entirely her doing, but still, once again, shows that she's in great shape. As do Sato and Horikawa. And the Americans, well, they're individual skaters. Gilbert, Myers, Birkeland are not near the level that the individual Japanese skaters are at, so they're at a disadvantage there. And considering that, the time of 3:06, not too bad. We do have one more pair though. Japan hasn't won yet. Now they're gonna have to do a special race to beat Japan. But there are also two special teams. Team Canada and Team Netherlands. Now, as opposed to the men's team pursuit, where last year it went very chaotically, the women's team pursuit was quite a bit more streamlined.
Starting from the finishing straight is Team Canada.
Team Canada, Yvonne Blondet, Isabelle Weideman, Valérie Maltais. They have skated together in the team pursuit for years.
From the crossing straight,
The middle one, the tall one, is Weideman, by the way.
Joy Boom.
And Beune, Kiel and Anema for the Netherlands. As I said, the Canadian team has skated together for years. They know each other incredibly well, which is a big advantage. It's also a disadvantage, because if one of them is sick, the replacement, you won't know each other as well. But if you're all three in great shape, then you'll do fantastically. The Netherlands, last season at the World Championships, won with a fantastic time until they got disqualified. Because a little bit of the back of the ankle wasn't covered on Beune, right above the skate. They're already losing a second on Japan in the opener. And losing a bit more here too. But Japan did start off very fast and then lost a little bit at the end. So if they can keep up this pace and maybe accelerate a little bit. And Canada, especially with Isabelle Weideman, is not a fast starting team. Neither is the Netherlands. And the Netherlands definitely doesn't have their strongest team here. And they did accelerate. 14-2, 14-1. Because one of the commercial teams from the Netherlands, Team Albert Heijn Zaanlander, is not here. They will be in Beijing, but they are not here. They decided to not go, and they have the strongest members of the Dutch team pursuit. Irene Schouten, Marijke Groenewoud. (14-4, 14-3). A little bit slower than the previous. But if they can keep this up, then they can definitely still reach Japan. 14-5, steady. But they have to keep this pace. If they don't, they'll still probably go into second and third, which is good. But they will want to win. 14-5 from Canada. That connection to Japan is still there. But then they have to speed up. It's not impossible, but it is difficult. 14-6. They're keeping the same pace with Canada now, and the Netherlands is losing a little bit. (14-5), Canada speeding up a little bit now. Winning slightly on Japan. They have to actually speed up. They're like 14-3, 14-2. It's probably not going to happen, but let's see. 14-6, one lap, that's not going to happen. They're heading for second and third place. Not that far behind Japan, but Japan will have a decisive victory. They're gaining a bit of time, but you can't gain 1.3 seconds in that final half lap. Still a good time, 2:59.2. Which is The 4th time ever skated, behind 3 times Japan, including this one. Well, ever skated in Obihiro, of course.
Finishing time for Team Netherlands is 3:01.29.
And the Netherlands with 3:01.29, also in the top 10. These were some very good races. It was a joy to watch.
チームが第2位、そしてオランダチームが第3位、そしてその前に滑った日本が2分58秒0で優勝となりました。おめでとうございます。たくさんの声援をお迎えください。
Just waiting for the final rankings now, hoping there are no issues anywhere with covering your ankles and that kind of stuff, which cost the Netherlands their world title last season. So hoping there are no disqualifications. Doesn't seem to be so far, which is good. And well done Japan on winning. Japan's had a very good weekend so far. They won the men's 500 meters, 1000 meters and 1500 meters. They won the women's 1500 meters, the women's team pursuit. Also got a podium spot in the women's 1000 meters. Only not in the women's 500 meters, because Mio Takagi doesn't skate them this season. Now Kodaira quit, retired, and Japan is kind of hurting for female 500 meter skaters now. So hopefully someone new stands up soon.
今女子チームパシュートメンバーが手を振りながら走ってくれています。皆さん手を振って答えてください。
There's quite a big audience here. It doesn't have as much space as a track like Heerenveen, but the space that there is filled. Skating is alive here, and that's why it's good that we do have competitions here. Just waiting for the final result now to have that confirmed. It's taking a while. So perhaps something is up. Maybe they're still looking at something. I don't know. But once again, well done to the Japanese skaters. They are a proper team. And that's good to see, because when you're training so much together, well, they're not as much nowadays, because Mio Takagi is no longer in team, no longer trains with the Japanese team. But you know, when you do skate together so much, and you train together, and then you win together, it's incredibly happy. It's an incredibly great feeling. And here we have the final results. Japan, Canada, Netherlands. Took a while, but no disqualifications. Luckily. Netherlands, Poland, China, Switzerland, USA, Germany, and then far behind, Korea and Italy. Well done to Japan, Canada, and the Netherlands. And that's it for today. That was the final event. Tomorrow it starts at the same time. So we'll be back again then. Have a good day.
会場の皆さんにご案内します。12月27日、29日までこの会場にて全日本選手権開催します。高井選手、山田選手、そしてワールドカップ後半に向けて盛り上がっていく全日本選手権、これ応援してください。12月27から29、この会場となりますので、またこの会場足を運んでください。よろしくお願いします。ご来場の皆様、お待たせいたしました。これより男子チームパシュート表彰式を行います。We will now commence our ceremony for team pursuit men. The medals will be presented by Mass Runner Super Archer ISU representative. Bronze medal, Team United States of America. Silver 女子チームパシュート表彰式を行います。We will now commence our ceremony for team pursuit women. The medals will be presented by Ms. Swana Silver Archer ISU representative.